Hey everybody, it's Ed at the WW&F. We're live at Unscripted, and it's day 3 of our fall work weekend, and number 9 is just leaving the yard for our work train, so they're stopping for water. Well, let's go over to the tank and see what's going on. Hi everybody, you're live on Facebook.
Hello
Facebook. You're live on Facebook, everybody.
Hello Ed. Hello Ed.
Live streaming. Live streaming. Live streaming. Live streaming.
You're live on Facebook, everybody. Live on Facebook. Gentlemen?
Where?
Yeah.
Low standards there, Ed.
So what have you guys been up to all weekend?
I worked on track a few days, and now I'm on the train crew.
Nice.
And you?
I'm trying to remember. Old age is a son of a gun.
Dante's up there filling the tank.
I don't remember what day it is.
So, Conductor Bill, do you have an official business?
I'll get the switch after you pull through. I will wait for you. After you go through the switch. Don't wait before. Okay. All right.
Hello.
Hello. You want to say what you've been working on this weekend?
The railroad.
Facebook is going to love
This morning there was a crew working at Trout Brook, extending the platform and the pathways there. This afternoon we're working on a tie replacement at all these fields.
Excellent. Excellent.
We did track test our new South African hopper car.
Yeah. I'll show everybody. What we'll do is we'll wait for the train to leave, and then I'll bring the Facebook folks over to the hopper car and show them our new to us South African car. Cool.
One person coming, I don't know if it's coming with us.
I'm live streaming.
Are you coming with us?
So Steve, what have we been working on this weekend? Hello, Johnny.
There's
been a lot of work on
Drumhead.
There's been a ton of work in
We are working on Ninja Class.
all kinds of places. There's been a ninja class,
Apparently.
hosted by Johnny.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm trying to think. I made breakfast from 7 to 9 o'clock this morning.
Wow, that's
I
awesome.
made a lot of bacon, egg, and cheeses, and sausage, egg, and cheeses.
That's awesome.
They're putting the vacuum brakes onto Coach 8 now that it got repainted, and all the vacuum brake hardware on Coach 3. What else has been going on? Oh, track work, like lots of track work. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
There's so much going on here that I'm unaware of everything.
Right. What have you personally worked on besides cooking, which is very, very important?
I switched out.
Drumhead.
Scott and I switched out the North Yard and South Yard with Artie
And Drumhead.
and I built a drum head.
Yes.
For the back of the train.
Yeah.
I did that last night.
Good.
Nominally.
Good. Good.
Very nice one.
All right. Good. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You'll have to be on the train next time.
Yeah.
The time you're like,
And off they go. If it wasn't obvious, the young man who was kind of hogging the screen there is Johnny Pieprowski. That's Steve Pieprowski's son, and Steve was the one who was talking. So, we encourage young people to get involved with their parents' supervision. Okay, so Steve actually gave a great preview of what's been going on here. I'll flip the camera around so at least I'm talking to people. I don't know who's online. Looks like there's a few people online. This is Ed LeKire, by the way, General Passenger Agent here at the WW&F, and this is one of those live and unscripted things that I do from time to time. I get feedback every once in a while that they like seeing what's going on here, just kind of on an impromptu basis. So, anyhow, so I'm up in the north yard. I hope it looks like the feed stayed pretty good. So that's always a challenge around here, is the feed can sometimes get a little funky. So let's go over to Coach 8. I guess circumstances haven't allowed me to be as active this year. So with this work weekend, so I'm not exactly sure what's been going on. So let's check out Coach 8. That's the combination car. It was built by Edaville Railroad in the 1980s, but then eventually came here, and it's built in the style of a Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington combo car. So let me flip the camera around here. And ooh, doesn't that look nice, huh? New coat of paint. So if you guys have been following us, it was Battleship Gray primer for a while, and it just got a new coat of a couple of new coats of paint. The windows have all been redone and refinished. In our research, we determined that the windows themselves on these cars were varnished, plain wood. And so we're replicating that on the coach we're building, and we're going to do all of our cars that way, ultimately. So, guys, you're live on Facebook.
Live?
Live!
In
action. So what have you been working on?
Cleaning windows, painting windows. I didn't do any painting.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, you do it.
This was the painter.
That's right. Yeah, we varnished windows. We painted windows. We made them fit and open and close properly. Put back the Victorian hardware intact, and now we're cleaning this stuff off the glass and getting this guy ready for service.
Yep, and it'll be in service tomorrow for our pumpkin picking trains.
There you go.
Yeah. So
come on down and enjoy a ride on this coach. You'll be the first one to use it after the rebuild.
Yeah. And here comes our master carpenter, Eric Shada. Hi, Eric. You're live on Facebook.
We're cleaning up.
So they were just telling us about the paint. Do you want to go into any details about how how you came up with this color scheme and the windows and all that stuff?
Color is to more or less match the varnished oak on Coach 9, which has yet to be completed, but it'll look more or less like that.
Hey,
Cool.
do you have 2 minutes and you can show us Coach 9?
Sure.
Do you have your key?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Open.
Oh, awesome. Hey, guys, this is really exclusive. The guy who's in charge of our Coach 9 project, for those who have been following us, that's the passenger coach, the wooden passenger coach we are constructing from scratch. And Eric is the project lead on that, and we'll get to go see that. So let's check that out. Yeah. Yeah. There's a repeater right over there. So here we go. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, that was plenty of tours in here. So it looks like plastic. The plastic is to protect dust, to keep dust off the varnish vehicle.
Right.
Let's
All right.
lights on here. Anyhow. Well, so this is basically the final coat of green paint. It's a dark, almost black, but it's green.
Yeah, it's clearly green to the eye.
Yeah, when it's outside, you can see it, and it'll be a nice contrast when we get the gold leaf lining and lettering on, as we started doing Coach 8. We are getting ready to do that, the lining and lettering. We've got professional help getting the high gloss finish on here. We want this thing to look like $1 million.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we definitely need professional help around here. That is definite.
And so this is the American rep of Epiphanis Paints, who's been donating paint at cost to us. And he's a professional painter, yacht painter, so it ought to come out pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Big shout out to Epiphones for, am I saying that right? Epiphones. For helping sponsor this project and giving that not only their time and their talent but their expertise of how to do this. It's just they've been fantastic to work with. Oh, can we can go inside?
They're checking out stuff.
Inspecting your work.
This is the Miller system right here in model form. Yeah.
Ooh, a Miller Hook system. Miller Hook safety platform
let me take
model.
this stuff in so we can spread out and talk to you a little bit.
That's not well publicized yet, and it's not a definite. But I think
One of the thoughts is on this car is when it was built, it had the Miller Hook, and so the coupler for the hook looks like that. Goes under the coach. There's also some other bits. There's a. It basically the coupling system has two bits. One is the hook. You can see there's another one, hooks here, and it pulls. Then there's a buffer. Each car would have a buffer, and that's sprung. And so they work against each other. This keeps the cars apart. This keeps them together, and so that they're always in firm contact with each other.
Where's that buffer in the model?
In the model,
Oh, here it is.
Buffer is
But
here, and you can see there's a
spring.
spring.
There it is. Yeah.
And so this is a bigger scale. This is still not full scale. And then the hook also has a spring.
Yeah.
And this is for tension, so you pull on that.
right.
Is there something that centers the hook?
Yes, there's a spring.
Another spring. Okay.
You
That's
can
flat.
see
Okay.
here,
spring.
and we're going to make it with a model here. We're going to make a large scale model, not full size, but quarter scale. See if we can make that work.
There was no slack action. Other
Yeah.
than
There's
the
no
spring.
slack.
That was
That's
made
correct.
a lot of comfortable ride there.
That's the theory.
Right, and also show the way that the whatever we call the truss rods are
So
configured.
these truss rods, there's one that goes underneath and one that goes sort of up. And the idea is it keeps the platform stiff, and so it doesn't sag or raise. And part of that is in the event of a collision. So one of the things that used to happen with link and pin couplers, which were down at the height of this, is it's off center and it would break the platform. And then one platform would be low, the other would be high, and the cars would ride up on each other and create
Telescope.
loss of life.
Right, right. It's important to note that the official name of this is not the Miller Hook couplers; it's the Miller Hook safety platform.
Yeah. It's a whole.
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole assembly, and the kind of the postlude is as railroads standardized on the knuckle couplers. These platforms were modified to get this mechanism out of there and stick a knuckle coupler on there.
So on Coach 3, basically they cut this off and put a regular Janny coupler. And if you look under Coach 3, this buffer is still there, at
Right.
least on one end.
Right, and then these truss bars would get cut.
The truss bars would it changed a little bit, but
Right.
yeah, so it's
Right, and
They
then
would cut the truss bar.
and then they would then the platforms would sag, and that's why all of the old wooden cars at Edaville and all the other railroads that converted to the knuckle couplers from the Miller platform, all the platforms started to sag.
right.
And
Right.
that's why all those metal assemblies are made there. And
Yeah, yeah.
What I call
Yep.
the
Right.
platform.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We
These 1890 cars, 30 years later, they start sagging because they've been compromised.
exactly
And in another 10 years, they were done. They were
Right.
gone.
right.
Edaville was stuck with the Janny couplers.
Right.
And trying
So
to
we've
make
got
them run.
Simplex and Climax. I guess Simplex is what the WW&F used, and Climax is what Bridgeton used, if I understand correctly.
Right.
Were they compatible?
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
couple
Oh
together.
yeah.
They're just
Yeah, we've got
different.
both types on our railroad today.
Oh, today.
Yeah. But so interesting fun fact for us narrow gauge geeks, right? We know the Boston Revere Beach and Lynn was a 3-foot electrified narrow gauge out of Boston, basically today's route of today's blue line. Right, exactly. That was a modern high-speed railroad back in the day. They used Miller couplers till the end. They never took those off. They had the opportunity, of course, but they never did. So that dispels all myths of these were taken off because they weren't effective. They were taken off only because of interchange.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and then what happened? They sold Boston Revere Beach and Lynn, again, we know as narrow gauge geeks, sold their coaches to East Broad Top.
Yeah, so
All right, and what does now? If you look at the old EBT, converts to Janie, and what are their platforms doing?
The same
They're
thing
sagging.
with ours.
Yep.
History repeats.
So
Eric, sell all your plans to EBTs. Yeah. Exactly work.
You got it all figured out. Make some money.
right. Well, we're gonna try it. We're gonna
Huge
try it.
market, you know, EBT they might need
Right.
half a dozen.
Strasburg uses a bunch of Revere Beach and Lynn.
No, the old Boston and Maine.
Boston and Maine.
Yep.
Yeah, because remember,
B&M.
And this-
this is narrow gauge,
Yep.
footers, right?
So let's
Our
go
other
through.
project that we've been doing lately is clear story windows.
Oh, those came out beautiful. I haven't been here since. Look at that. Oh, and
So they've got interesting hardware up here.
yeah. You know, let's do a shout out on how we figured out how those frames, the screens worked, and that little trip we took not too long ago.
Right. So we went down to what was the name of it?
The Connecticut Trolley Museum.
Trolley Museum in Warehouse Point, Connecticut, which is part of Windsor, East Windsor.
Yeah.
One of those towns.
Yeah, it's outside of Hartford.
Outside of Hartford. So they had what was that, probably an 1890s
Yeah.
vintage wooden railroad car, standard gauge, that was rotting into the ground. Unfortunately, it was donated to them, and it wasn't something they could maintain.
Right.
And they asked us if we would like to rescue the hardware out of it. So
Yeah.
these things. This is actually new stuff.
Right.
So we had this cast by a Cattail Foundry down in
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Right. But we also got one of those screens from that.
And we got a screen so that we knew how. I mean, we kind of knew how it was, but there was proof on how it went together.
Right.
And what it looked like. So this screen, basically, the goal is to keep the cinders out of the coach.
Right. So just again a shout out to the folks at Connecticut Trolley. Just an example of railroad preservationists working together. Yeah, we would love to save everything, but sometimes things are too far to gone.
Can't do it.
Yeah, and so we can still at least learn from each other and save what we can.
I suppose if that was a WW&F car and we found it in the woods in that shape, we would have brought it home and fixed it.
Oh, of course. Right. It's a common commuter coach from the Philadelphia and Reading. Is the car that we reference, and I believe it has not been completely parted out yet. So if anybody needs parts for a 1890 wooden coach,
Seat frames. And
yeah, yep.
I don't know what all else.
Yeah, there's stuff, right? All right, but speaking of this stuff, so is the roof, the ceiling, is this temporary?
This is temporarily installed, but it's a permanent ceiling. So
Okay.
we intend to decorate this. The Coach 3 has some very fancy
You don't need as many drivers because the route is
scroll work on the corners and lines, and we want to replicate that as close as we can. We also have, this is just a sample of the stuff, but we have the ceiling panels that go here. This one is not cut to fit. But
Okay, yeah, let me see if yeah, hold that back. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Bill, look, see, you get this beautiful yellow pine.
So I do have a question from the interweb. Peter Polovitsky asked, is there a color reference for the shade of green, referencing the outside color?
Yes, it's from Coach 3. We sanded through the paint that's on the outside of Coach 3 down to bare wood. We found what the color is. We had it professionally basically copied. And so we've got a pretty good match to it.
Right. Is there a color name for it?
Not a name for it, other than what Epiphanes calls it is railroad coach green gray, gray green or something. He has some funny name for it.
All right. So if anybody has an 1890 coach that they want to paint that color, they can contact Epiphanes.
We can also send you a color sample.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. We'll be happy to. Anybody who really wants that information, just reach out to info@wwfry.org, and we'll get you in touch with Eric, and we'll be happy to share the information we know. All right.
We will varnish over this so the color will change. So
Okay.
The outside color will yellow a little bit.
Right.
Get warmer.
Right.
Prettier.
Right. Yeah. Now I understand you hand carved each one of these.
I did. There are like 30 of these in the coach. I hand carved these. They're oak, so I sawed out the profile, carved the decoration in there. I believe the original decoration was a classic, I suppose, Greek or Roman plant, decor plant, And apparently it's a really nasty plant, the real one. Like poison ivy. I made them into crocuses or tulips because I looked close and I couldn't figure out what the classic looked like.
Right. Right. Well, they're spot on for what's in Coach 3. That's for sure.
This one's a little more like the, not really, a little more like the original one, but I like this one better.
All right. And I think you have made some extras, I think.
There are some extras.
We've been talking about
There's some discussion about offering them for sale as a support for the railroad, for this coach.
For this coach, right? Because we still got a lot to do here.
A lot to do.
Yeah, we got the seats to go in, the chandeliers.
The seats, we have the hardware for the seats. The cast iron side frame is here, painted for all the seats. They're painted. They're sort of an odd color. It's a sort of a burnt orange, which seems to be the original color. We scraped through the paint on Coach 3s to see what's under there, and that's what we decided the color was. So we painted all the cast iron bits for the coach, including the heads of the screws.
Wow.
So when we put it together, it shows.
Nice.
We have the seat cushions coming. There's a carriage shop down in Amish country in Pennsylvania, very near Cattail Foundry. The Double E Carriage Shop is making us upholstered seats, a lot of seats.
Nice.
They'll be done in March sometime, hopefully.
Cool. So we do have some comments. Ellen was saying, looks amazing. Her dad, Kenneth Steves, is there working away. So yeah, Ken is here. Yeah, he's somewhere around here. And impressed with the hand carving also. Andrew Schneemaker says wood inlay is amazing. Hand carved, spectacular. Then there's another comment that just his. Measure the car this summer once Facebook. So he's going to post a picture. Oh yeah, Christopher Hoff. Hi, one of our followers out in California. Yay! Yeah. So yeah. Feel free to post that photo, Chris. There's a question, and this the question is anything original from the car? And I think that's a misunderstanding.
Yes.
This is not.
there is something original for the car. It's Coach 3. This is Coach 9. There's nothing original in Coach 9.
This is a new build, folks. This is built from scratch.
We started out with 40-foot Douglas fir timbers delivered on a flatbed truck and built up from there.
So the backstory, for those who are not familiar, is the WW&F originally was Wisconsin and Quebec Railroad Company, started with a 3-coach set. 2 passenger cars and a baggage car. They were all built by Jackson and Sharp in 1894. They were a matched set. of that set, only Coach 3 survives. Coach 2 was lost, and the baggage car 1 was lost. So our goal is to replicate that train set, whereby we're starting with this passenger coach, and then maybe someday we'll do a baggage car or something like that.
So right now on campus, there is something of interest.
Yeah, but nothing is decided yet on that. But
we don't know what the story is.
Right. But the gist of it is the point is, so this is not a reconstruction or a restoration. This is a new build. So this is pretty impressive. So Eric, thank you so much for we've already got a whopping 13 people, but what will happen is this posting will go
Go totally viral.
Yeah, it's going to go totally viral. I don't think we'll get 3 million like one of Stuart's videos does, but people really do appreciate the kind of the in-depth look that we can kind of do on these things. I'm going to go show them number 11 and maybe
You've been around Coach 8, so we'll see what that looks like.
Yep. So let's go out of the wood shop here.
One of the things I'm going to be doing in a short period of time is doing the last numeral 8 on the side of the coach.
Oh, nice. Is this the final verdict?
This is more or less what we're doing. Coach, this is one I painted. This is the actual color. Gold paint. This is maroon and red. And if you look at Coach 8, you will see 8 with a drop shadow and stuff like this. And I will do WW&F RY
on Coach 8.
On Coach 8.
Okay.
And Coach 9 will never see this, but it fit on the piece of wood.
Right. Good. But that's the color scheme.
That's the color scheme.
Right. And Coach 9 is actually going to get the gold leaf and not just the gold paint, correct?
Correct.
Nice.
Correct.
Nice.
My thought was Coach 8, I would do it.
Yeah,
If
because
we don't like it, we can sand it off and do it again. I'm no expert, but I'm getting there.
Hey, since it's right here, here's our South African hopper car. So, coupled up to 52. I'm going to go around the other side. David Fletcher, does the coach have window pocket? Yes, the window shade. Does this coach have window shade pockets? I'll see if I can find Eric to get that answer, David, for you, because I don't know the answer to that. So here is our South African ballast hopper, or one of the 2 of them. This arrived this week. It's had a long journey from South Africa to the United States. We are just thrilled to have this. I can't say how much back-saving work it's going to help us here as we maintain and potentially expand our railroad. If we're going to expand, and everyone wants to know, hey, are you guys going to build more railroad? It takes money and volunteers, but it also takes the right equipment to expand and to maintain. And this is one of the ways that we're doing that. The other way we're doing that is let's go over to the shop. Was a question. BNR 51 and 54. Okay, yep. So I'll just go through the yard here. So that's BNR, Bridge and Saco River locomotive number 8, and the baggage cars, box cars 54 and 51. These are here basically on loan or storage or display. The locomotive 8, of course, from the Bridge and Saco River Railroad, ran it many years at the Edaville Railroad down in South Carver. It was their mascot locomotive. I mean, when I was growing up, when you were going down to South Carver, you'd see it on all the signs, Locomotive 8, there it was. Eventually, when the Edaville collection was transferred up to Maine Narrow Gauge Museum in Portland, it did run there for briefly, but it has since gone cold, and we are now hosting it here in our yard. There's an agreement that was announced with Maine Narrow Gauge and Maine Locomotive and Machine Works to restore Locomotive 8 and the Monson Locomotive 4, which is also on our property right now. But right now it's just on display. We're happy to have it here. The boxcars behind it, those are from the Bridgeton and Saco River Railroad, and I'm not sure who actually is the owners of these particular two cars, so I don't want to get in trouble by making something up, but they're here and on display in our yard. So that's the scoop of those, and yes, those are from the Bridgeton and Saco River by way of main narrow gauge in Edithville. All right, thank you, Peter, for letting us know. Was the hopper car. Brendan, I'm going to kill you. Okay, question about the hopper car. What type of coupler does it have, and all that sort of stuff. Things will change on this car, so please don't hold us to that. Yeah, hi. Love you too, guys. Let's zoom in. That's our president, David Buskowski, on our left, and our another board member, Brendan Berry, over there. They're obviously conducting official business, so we're happy to see them hard at work here. They're working almost as hard as I am. Anyhow, the couplers here. We do want to do something with them, but we haven't decided what yet. So, stay tuned. They're not going to be an easy conversion to U.S. style couplers. We do know that, the way that they're laid out and designed, and the way that the bar works. What car will it be painted? It will be painted the color of its whistle, I think. So we'll figure that out. Yeah, nothing's been decided. But I did notice something. So shout out to, there's big news this week in railroad preservation about preserving and restoring a Mohawk. Well, apparently we're restoring a Hudson. So there you go, guys. Eat your heart out there in Indiana. We've got the Hudson. So there we go. Alrighty. Let's go over. Oh, they're closing up the shop, but I think I can still get in. Can I get in? I'm live on Facebook. Close the doors. Close the doors. So one of the other projects we've been working on is our X-Cart, also fondly known as Dave. There was a picture on Facebook not too long ago of the Kubota excavator. By the way, guys, we're live on Facebook. So there was a picture of the Kubota excavator on the cart. We are in the process of motorizing it, getting the supports installed, all of that stuff. So, we're been working on that. And we're building a steam locomotive. So, Gordon, you want to tell us what you've been working on this weekend?
Hi, yes, we've been working on finishing up some details on the frame. Some holes needed to be drilled before we could get too far down the road. We have these are shoes, and there are wedges. These support the driving boxes that hold the axles, the main driver axles. They go in the frame vertically in the openings. Here and here they set, and they actually set the whole alignment of the wheels of the locomotive, so that they have to be perfectly aligned, and the axles have to be perfectly perpendicular to the frame. The spacing has to be very, very precise, and everything has to line up basically with the cylinders. And that's what this wire is for. This is called the tram wire. Mm-hmm. This sets a datum line for us to do all these measurements from, and make sure that everything I just said is correct, that everything is in the right place. Right. So the train goes down, the engine will go down the track straight instead of at an angle.
And that's important.
Kind of like your car when you get in alignment.
Right. I know there was a slight bit of discussion about that this morning on Facebook, the different ways of doing this, but we have experience doing it this particular way and got excellent results when we did number 9. Yeah. Exactly.
And we created these fixtures here to hold a faux or fake axle in exactly the right position. And with these points here, we can set it up so it's aligned perfectly with the wire, and then we can go in and use the same fixture to go inscribe marks on the shoes and wedges to make sure that the distance laterally, excuse me, the distance laterally is correct. So that's what we're just setting up to do now.
And Rick's putting one in on that side.
Yeah.
Cool. So now big heating and riveting and super exciting things going on today.
Yeah, they
Oh, you did that all
did
yesterday.
some heating and beating yesterday to create some of the suspension parts
Uh-huh.
and actually forge them.
Yeah.
Forge them out.
Yeah. Here's the front truck, everybody. One of the common questions we get, how long have we been working on that? Well, those wheels in front there, the pilot wheels, were built, almost 20 years ago now, as a kind of a down payment to this project. And we've been picking it away at it, but it really picked up about 4 or 5 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah, and so now that the wheel set will go onto this new, what do you call it, truck frame. So, yeah. Cool. All right. More parts over here. Over here, they're working on our vacuum brakes. We're live on Facebook, guys. Does somebody want to tell what we're doing? Dom, you want to say?
I'm not leaving my buddy behind.
Yes, we are. These are the stands that go on the ends of the coaches outside that tie together a vacuum brake system, automatic brakes. So we're just putting the final adjustments on the stands before we attach them.
Excellent.
Yep.
One end's got to adjust to match the hose at the bottom that runs under the car.
Yep.
Other end has to make sure that they're not running into the other car to give us extra clearance.
So, yep.
Cool. Yep. So we'll be the only railroad in the United States with automatic vacuum brakes. So that's going to be cool. Let's go check out the forging that they were doing over here. So here's our flanging machine. For those who are really into the geekery, it's a BD style flanger. We built this flanging machine based on that patent right there. And so this we built this so that we could, bend steel, and man, it does a good job. It also makes a great vise. So this is Rick. Exactly what is this? That's in the
Transverse equalizer.
a transverse equalizer, of course. Cool.
We formed this yesterday.
Yeah, using this special tool, I understand that we had to be built to make that shape. Oops.
Well, it's gotten a lot of use.
Yeah, well. And I think we're pretty much done with it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it goes right.
This one in here. So it's a little tight, but that's where
Yeah,
it went.
yeah.
You can see
Yeah, it got quite a bit of
quite a
beating.
bit of beating.
Yeah. There's a Facebook post that just went live 2 days ago. Rick wrote it, so thank you, Rick. But that talks about all of the process that we've had to do to make these ears on these things. So, and shout out to WW&F Team Worldwide. We've reached our $50,000 goal for fundraising for this year of the Build 11 project. So thank you to everybody who's contributed, and anything that comes in from this point will just make it go faster. We're going to start hiring things out to kind of build 11 faster. So there it is. I'll just zoom in from where I am. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive project. Nothing going on today, but it is still on our project. Actively project is our locomotive 10. Frame is over here, back over here, the boiler parts. You'll see we have a secured area for the boiler, the parts, and so that's starting that process. Let's go over. Nothing really too exciting going on over here. So this tool showed up recently, which is new to us. It's a Baldwin Locomotive Works press. It was built by Baldwin for installation somewhere. I'm my understanding, and please don't hold me to this, but my understanding is that Baldwin started making machinery and tooling for sale towards the end of its corporate existence, and this is one of those machines. I'm not sure of its heritage, where it came from, but it's here, so that's kind of cool. David, again, asking about happening on number 10. Yeah, we're working on it. The boiler is, like I say, over there, it's an active project at this point. It had been kind of a back burner project, but now it is a very active project. We don't ever announce, our goals of restoration, steam locomotives, you just don't do that. But it's active now. It's very active. So anyhow, let's go back over to, I don't want to go up that way. Sorry. So we'll go around the long way. Yeah, that's what I was just going to show people. Yeah. So, and if anybody wants to see anything in particular, be happy to show, the projects where we are. I can walk around and talk all day. So everybody, we're live on Facebook, which is unusual because Mr. Stuart Ryan is usually the guy who does this, and you'll see that photo on Facebook, I bet, sometime later.
Well, the rare thing here is that this is like an 1890 era switch lamp made by Peter Gray for the Maine Central, and it's unaltered. It was like taken out of service maybe in 1920, and that's exactly what it looks like today. It hasn't been used since, and it fits perfectly on this switch stand. So this is the first time on this railroad that an 1890 era switch lamp has actually appeared anywhere. And that's what it would have looked like if they had them brand new back then. That's what it would have looked like.
Mm-hmm. And so my understanding is the WW&F historically used Peter Gray lanterns.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Cool. Let's get a
photographic proof from Weeks Mills. Yeah. So get a close shot of that.
Yeah, let me do that. Yeah, Jason Sobnowski. Yes, you are most welcome here. Please come by. We try to do things right. We might do things a little different, but we try to do things right, and you'd be more than welcome to come and check us out anytime. Shout out to Jason, of course, is a well-known and respected person in steam locomotive restoration, so is doing wonderful work down there in Kentucky, so shout out to him. Privileged to have you on the live feed. There's the switch stand. Okay, so then we're talking about the vacuum brake assembly. So yeah, they're in the process of assembling it on Coach 3. So like we talked about earlier in the live cast here, we've been going quite a way, so I hope you guys aren't boring the heck out of you. But anyhow, so Coach 3 survived from the original WW&F. I think, no, it's not on this side. But anyhow, this is the original coach, and once Coach 9, its copy is built, we will do a full rebuild on this car. Jacob asks, are the switch lanterns electric? Absolutely, positively not. We pride ourselves here on doing things like they did back in the 1890s to 1930s. This particular railroad went out in 1933. Our kind of target year is 1911. That's when this railroad was at its peak. And again, backstory, this might be old for some people, but the WW&F Railway Museum exists to rebuild the Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington Railway. Maine was the only state in the United States that had this network of 2-foot narrow gauge railroads. Narrow gauge is very common, of course. 2-foot narrow gauge, not common. Maine, the only state that had a network of 2-foot narrow gauge railroads. I'll throw this out for trivia. What was the only other state, other than Massachusetts, because Massachusetts was the home of Edaville Railroad and originally the Billerica and Bedford, which only operated for a little while, and became the impetus for the 2-footers in Maine. But there was another state that had a 2-foot narrow gauge railroad. Put in the comments what state was that and what was that railroad? was a 2-foot narrow gauge common carrier. Common carrier, that's key, right? Because as a common carrier, these railroads, these narrow gauge railroads, they were the real thing, So they were, the narrow gauge is, always cheap, but we say in Maine, well, we can do cheap, we can do cheaper. So that's why 2-foot. Not common, but phenomenally fun. Yes, Steam Guy, that is absolutely true. And they're fun size, but they're real railroads. Don't get yourselves kidding. Colorado Gilpin, nope, that is not the right answer. I believe that would have been either a mining railroad or a lumber railroad or something like that, but it was not a common carrier. So let's see what else is going on. So so meanwhile, the ballast hopper went out on the line. We kind of missed that, unfortunately. Oh, so Eric was talking about it's going to get loud. There's a lot of people around here, but here's the number 8 that Eric painted on the side of the car. We're going to do that, this lettering on this car, so eventually the whole thing will match, at least coloring. Yeah, there, Eric's at work, so there's that. Shout out. There it was. I saw it. No, I said, I said the Bedford and Berwick didn't count, but Jason Zimnowski, that Steam Guy, yes, Mount Gretna, narrow gauge in Pennsylvania. Good job. Yeah, it was, the Mount Gretna was a common carrier, mostly passenger, as I understand, 2-foot narrow gauge railroad in Pennsylvania. So shout out to all these people for that did our platform. That was last year's project, but man, didn't this come out? Anyhow, the platform is now in service, much expanded, much needed. We got a nice handicap ramp down at the end. I don't know if you guys can see that, to make our accessibility. And tomorrow we'll be running sold-out pumpkin trains. So we'll be bringing a couple hundred people up to the pumpkin farm. Oh, we got an exclusive. All right. An artist at work.
So this is a drop shadow. I'll do that first. I'm not a professional.
You play one on TV?
No. Well, maybe. YouTube. So you've maybe seen the ones that are complete elsewhere on the coach. This is the last one.
Guy did a close-up just 2 minutes ago.
You do the math, this is now 32, right? Coach 32? 8 4 times. But 36, is that right? You know, my math, I'm too busy painting to do math.
Right. Well, we're watching him paint. The question came in about couplers on the ballast cars. Right now, the couplers are how they came from South Africa, using whatever style. Don't ask me what that is. I don't know what it's called. Sorry, but it's some sort of coupling system that is. You can get a Lincoln pin basically into it, and that's what we're doing for now. Is it's just we're using Lincoln pin to pull it up and down the track. This was the first day that car went down the track. The reports I've heard is that it ran really well, so we're pretty pleased with it. It's still going to need a lot of work, Again, if people are so inclined, I hate to keep asking for money, but if you want to support the ballast hopper car, go to WW&F.org/Africa. Sing the Toto song with all of us, and throw a couple bucks at restoring the ballast hoppers. It's a $66,000 project to do those 2 hoppers just to get them here. Just like every other piece of railroad equipment, of course, you crack into it and it's going to be more expensive and need more work than you anticipate. So anyhow, so there's the drop shadow going in on Coach 8.
Starting.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
a bright cherry red.
Cool. Oh, and again, we'll get Stuart taking a picture for Facebook on Facebook. All right. Let's go over the engine house. Everybody's been asking about the engine house, or at least, you know, very popular topic. So, walking here through the north yard. Again, feel free to drop questions in the comments if I missed something. If I missed something, feel free to ask it again. So here's our turntable. We just had a Facebook video of this go 2.5 million views, which we're pretty proud of. The progress on the roundhouse. So that's the engine house. We'll get right over there. We're right there, Jacob. So here is our turntable. This went in 2016. It is built. Here's our date marker. It is built in the style of the turntables that existed on this railroad in Wiscasset, Albion, and so we reconstructed it here. It feeds, of course, our engine house. This is a reconstruction of the engine house that stood in Wiscasset, the same engine house that burned, taking locomotives 6 and 7 with them. Those were the two biggest steam locomotives, and the locomotive that I was just showing you guys, locomotive 11, is a reconstruction of that locomotive 7. Don't ask about 6. It's big. Would we like to do it? Yes. Will we do it? Maybe. But here is the engine house. We're going in now through the front doors. The front door, interesting fact is the doors open inward. This is how the roundhouse in Wiscasset was doored for two reasons. One is snow. You open the doors in, you don't have to try to shovel them out. But the whole design is so narrow. If they were to be open open outside, you'd block the other tracks. So we didn't want to do that anyway. So it only made sense to do what they did in the original. To have them open inside. It is in the process of being finished on the inside. This is a primer. The white color is a primer. I think it will be pointed white ultimately, but it has to do with the fireproofing, this insulation. This bay here, this is our third bay. You see our giant smokes exhaust up there. Behind the plastic is Rockwell insulation, and it's going to get a tin or metal roof of some ceiling of some sort. That's on the to-do list, but that's what's going on this side. And then if I go over the large bay, so again, this is engine house is modeled after the one in Wiscasset. The one in Wiscasset had the middle bay extended out to accommodate WW&F number 6, which was the only tender locomotive that the WW&F had. So we've replicated here, and yes, 6 would fit in this bay. So for those who want to see us take on bigger projects, and here is bay 1. How many smoke jacks are installed now? Okay, so yeah, David. So we've got smoke jacks on bays 2 and 3. Bay 1, which is the one that, as you can see, has a inspection pit and work pit. Doing a smoke jack on that is just a little tricky. We definitely are going to do it. We're going to get to it sooner rather than later. The other smoke jack is assembled. It's right outside where I'm standing, but it will go right up there. We just have to floor this over temporarily, so we can do it safely. So that is on the bucket list. Don't ask when. It's it's common around here as any other railroad museum, right? Jacob wants to see the room in the back of the roundhouse. Okay, so this is our clean room. So So it's just a closet, really, but it's going to be our office and clean room for the steam locomotive maintenance. So it's tiny, but because everyone's going to ask, what's that locomotive? That's Maine Locomotive and Machine Works #1. It's a Brookville. Because of its bright green color, we call it the pumpkin. That's a joke. It was painted bright orange before, but the name stuck. Anyhow, it's we get to borrow it from our friends at Maine Locomotive and Machine, who they're just down our railroad a little ways, and we're so happy to have them be a part of what we're doing here in Alna, and what they're doing down in South Carver is just amazing. So shout out to Brian and all the great folks at Maine Locomotive and Machine. So anyhow, that's the other. So back to David's question. Yeah, stalls 2 and 3. The smoke jack for stall 1 is right over here, ready to go. So we alluded to food. We've had a lot of great food this weekend. Nancy and many other volunteers have stepped up to the plate to keep our plates full. Some of them are getting here early in the morning, and they'll be putting stuff away late tonight. So shout out to them. Let's see, we're going to a Car Barn exhibit hall if people are still tuned in. Wow. Okay. Speaking of locomotives, is there an update on 10 and the big deal in the back? We were going to regauge to run on the railroad. Okay, so 10 we talked about. 10 is under active restoration. If you didn't miss it in the feed, then go back through once we're done live. But 10 is in active restoration. I showed a little bit of the boiler parts that have been put together, not put together as an assembled, but they're in the same spot for so that they can be cataloged, and all of the code work. Jason can tell you all about that stuff that has to occur. So this is our car barn. For those of you who haven't been here, this is Sandy River Rangeley Lakes Combine. This is here on display courtesy of our friends at Maine Narrow Gauge Railroad Company Museum down in Portland. This model gets overlooked a little bit, but this is a model of the railroad yard as it existed in Wiscasset. So this also gives you an idea of what we're trying to recreate here at the WW&F Railway Museum. Now, our station here, Sheepscott, was a flag stop back, during the common carrier era. There wasn't any. There was just a path. It was a step siding and a small freight house. So it was not anything like you would see here. It was basically mostly swamp, actually. So what we have done here is, over the last 35 years or so, started reconstructing buildings and facilities in the style of, I don't want to say they're full replicas, they're not, but they are basically in the style of the buildings that you would have found down there in Wiscasset. So there's the engine house. You'll see that it's got a run-through bay just like we've done, but our run-through bay is on the opposite side. The turntable, the car shop, which mirrors the car shop that we were in earlier during the live feed. They've got a jib crane for coal. We're talking about doing something like that. It's not done yet, or it's just in the brainstorming stage. But so that gives you an idea of why things are kind of, has that kind of look and feel. We want to have that experience when you step on our property, that it's you're stepping back into a narrow gauge railroad of the 1910 era. So a couple box cars here, car 56. This was a long-term restoration project. This is a Bridgeton and Saco River box car. It is a livestock car. Thus, it was configured with ultimately with these doors or windows that open up. There is an interesting side effect here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can open this. So, when this car was converted from a box car by the Bridgeton in Saco River to a livestock car, they installed these whatever the hooks or whatever you want to call these brackets to bring livestock on and off the car. For whatever reason, there is absolutely zero evidence that they existed on the other side of the car. So it was only on this particular side of the car, for whatever reason, that there was a ramp to bring livestock on and off this car. So, fun little fact. So one of our other carpenters, we didn't meet him today, Marcel, he did the restoration on this car, along with, with our other volunteers, but he was the project lead. And you can see if you look carefully, you'll see how much of the original wood he was able to save, either reuse or whatever. And then the roof was actually in remarkably good condition. So we were able to, or I should say, Marcel really was able to do a good job keeping as much historic fabric on this car as we possibly could. And it's fun. We are we started because it's got these windows, and we wanted to do something different that tourist railroads typically don't do. We now call marketing this as a hobo experience, so you can but a bunch of I think we sell it for like up to 12 people or so can ride as hobos on a mixed train, and then play cards and sit on the barrels and all of that stuff. And we've got appropriate safety devices, of course, but the window's open, so you got a nice view of the track, and you get to experience what it's like to ride the rails without the comforts of home. So we're pretty proud of that. It's kind of a fun little thing. So check that out. You'll be able to book that in 2025 on our website. Boxcar 309. That's one of two of the boxcars that exist from the Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington that survived. This was part of the Ramsdale collection down in Connecticut, and was one of the first cars that we did a full restoration on. And here on a display. Everybody likes the Model T rail car, so there's our Model T. Again, runs like a tap. Next Sunday, so a week from today, there are still tickets available to ride the Model T. You can get those tickets online. So if you want to ride the Model T, last chance for 2024 is going to be next Sunday. To go for a ride with Ben on the Model T. Check it out. Question from Peter: was the BSNR up here and an accident rebuilt with the only post door on one side of the station? I don't know. I don't know anything about. I'm not a BNSR historian. I haven't had enough time trying to keep track of the WW&F trivia. So I'll throw that out. If anybody has any theories, feel free. We'll just go back down the other side of the thing. The Franklin and Megantic coach is on display here. The Bridgeton Saco River caboose, again from our friends at Maine Narrow Gauge, is on display here. We've got the Parlor Car Range Lee, of course, is under our care. Again exhibited in conjunction with the Bridgeton and Saco, with the Maine Narrow Gauge Railroad Company Museum down in Portland. So shout out to them for letting us have it here so that everybody can enjoy it, and at least from the outside. It is not accessible. The interior is not accessible, and we do that intentionally. So anyhow, no more comics. So there's that. And then Jacob wanted to update on 53 of the locomotive rear regaging. So that'll probably be it. Actually, I'm going to put Bob Kavanaugh. Bob, we're live on Facebook. Uh-oh. Yeah, I know you're not a Facebook guy, but basically you're broadcasting. You're broadcasting to a couple dozen people live right now.
That's scary.
And it's scary alone. And then this video will get probably somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 views before the week is done.
Oh, can I turn around and run away now?
So, Bob, you are the latest recipient of the Percival Award. Tell us about what that award is and why, what what should you do to deserve something of that honor?
Oh, I am honored by the honor, and I did not anticipate. It was totally unanticipated. Now, just totally.
Well, we had a hard time keeping that secret from you, Bob.
No, I had no idea. I really had absolutely no idea.
Right. So who was Harry Percival?
I've been volunteering since November of 1997.
November 97.
97, and I've seen the railroad grow and grow and grow, and the track and the buildings and the campus and everything. It's been wonderful. It's all a huge team effort. The wonderful thing about WWF is it's like an extended family. If everyone just gets along so well together, it just happens and naturally. And everyone who comes, and for the first time, if they want to volunteer, everyone finds their niche. No one is asked to do anything really. They may be asked, but also people find what they like to do themselves. They find it, they find their niche, and that's where they work. And they find other people who like to work with them, and everyone just works so well together.
Yeah. And Bob was the first. There was a conductor on my first train ride here at the WW&F, so it's partially his fault that I got involved.
Yeah, blame me. And Steve Browski?
Steve.
Yeah, I met them on a train ride over in Connecticut, and now they're over here. And since then, about two boys since then over here.
Yeah, they were much earlier in our broadcast. We were talking to Steve and Johnny.
And little did we know, and so
right.
with you, Ed, here.
Yeah.
And Emily.
Yeah.
Your daughter, Emily.
Yep.
Oh, her dating. How many dating way back then? Emily was like this tall.
Yep.
Remember when you guys came, and it was on a Saturday, and you came, and Emily was there, and we were doing some ballasting in the yard, ballasting a yard track, and Emily's there, and I see Emily and you, and first thing I did was I went and got one of those small shovels, and I gave it to Emily. I said, "You can join us shoveling snow and ballast," and she did.
Yep.
She was small; she couldn't do a lot, but you were helping out, and she was taking part. And that's how old was she?
Oh, she couldn't have been more than 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works for every ages, and you.
Right. And then,
look at you now.
Yeah.
You live up here.
yeah. I live down the street.
Moved from what? New Hampshire?
Massachusetts originally. But so tell everybody who Harry Percival was. Why we named this. So for the backstory for people is we have an award ceremony for outstanding exemplary volunteerism at the WW&F, and like I say, Bob won this award. It's named after Harry Percival. Bob, who was Harry Percival?
Oh, he was a fantastic. He was a founder of the WWF Railway Museum. Harry was, and that was before I joined in 1997. That was what, like 87, 10 years before that.
The museum was founded in 89.
89. I was close. 2 years. That's not bad.
Not bad.
And yes, and Harry was the founder of everything. In fact, I understand that Harry purchased was able to buy half of the right of way of the 43.5 miles.
Yep.
All the way to Albion.
Yep.
He bought all that up. And I remember I used to enjoy. I remember sitting down a few times on the platform with Harry and listening to his stories. He was just an amazing man. He wanted to preserve the railroad, and he did.
Yeah, and he laid the groundwork for what we enjoy today. If it weren't for Harry and his wife Clarissa, this would not have existed.
It would not have existed.
Yeah.
I remember I took a picture of him on the velocipede out here in the yard. In the yard, and we have a magnet of Harry, of my picture of Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here in the yard on the velocipede.
Yeah. You can get
He was
that.
an amazing man. He was just so multi-talented. I just enjoyed Harry.
Yeah. And you can get that magnet and many other things at giftshop.wwfry.org. So you can even buy that magnet and that picture of Harry on our website. So Harry built this house. This was his retirement home, and it has since become our volunteer headquarters. Because we were just talking about Harry. We can't walk by the house without talking about the roof.
Oh, the roof!
The roof! So, there's a truck in my way, but I'll see if I can get this. So up there on the roof, in the shingling, is a, like a representation, a shingling of Locomotive 9 and Boxcar 309. And you can even see, I don't know if you can see it well, but on the top of the chimney there, you can see his initials, HEP, Harry E. Percival, is right there on the chimney.
He spent one whole summer. Harry spent I remember the summer here. There was a huge blue tarp over the whole roof, and Harry worked all summer long under that blue tarp with had wooden supports so he could work underneath. And those are all, there's like up to 7 layers of different colored shingles up there. He built that. Imagine he built that shingle right on top of it. Not back here, but he could actually right on top. How he did that, being right on top of it, putting all those shingles together and making them number 9, the steam engine, Boschka 309, the original. How that's another amazing thing about Harry. How in the world, when you're right on top of something, how you can build it so finite and come out perfect, and all these decades later, 2 decades, 2.5 decades later, it's still beautiful color. And the good thing is too, it's facing east, not west, which is where we get our real pounding sun. So it's getting the least of the heavy-duty sun. But it's just amazing. It shows another one of Harry Percival's talents right there.
All right. I'm getting reports that the live feed is having trouble. Yeah, welcome to Sheepscott, everybody. This is what we deal with is not necessarily perfect internet coverage. So I still see 10 people on the feed, so I'm going to assume this is at least being recorded or whatever. Yeah, just a shout out to, that tells you the sort of tenacity Harry had, dedication, and a little bit of crazy, I think, I'd be fair to say. The question was originally about our diesel. We're going to go up into the north, very end of what we call our woods track. So this is all the our parking areas over here, but our mechanical stuff. But up here ahead is the Diesel 53. It is a standard gauge locomotive. Yeah, okay. Hopefully this is still going. If somebody wants to let me know if it's still going, I'd appreciate it. Here's locomotive 53. It is like it's a standard gauge GE, early GE 45 tonner, I think, is officially. Don't hold me on that. I'm not a diesel guy. The plan is to regauge this, shrink it. So we joke we're going to run it through our shrink ray. It is substantially bigger. I mean, a 45 tonner in the standard gauge world, of course, is tiny, but this thing dwarfs anything we have here for motive power. We're making it smaller. We're going to make it better. We're going to make it faster. All that good stuff. There's a team of people that are working on this. Okay, Fred reports the video is still out. I don't know if I should. I'll just blab, I guess. But hopefully the video will come back if I stay still. It shows I got a pretty good connection, so hopefully it will rejigger. So anyhow, it's a standard gauge G 45 tonner or so, yeah, we're gonna cut the frame along the sides basically, and lower it, lower the cab. They're still working out the details of the power plant and how and where to mount the traction motors, because the traction motors have to move and all that other stuff. We've got some good ideas. We've revised those plans significantly, we're still finalizing those things. So keep posted. Again, not to throw out, send us money, but if you want to support this project, you can go to our webpage, click on donate, and you can specify that you want to specify to the ultimate kit bash, as some people have called it, taking this GE 45 tonner and making it a 2-footer 2-truck locomotive. So since the video is out and I'm done walking the property, hey, thanks for watching and hanging with me. This has been Ed from the Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington, the fall work weekend wrap up, live and unscripted. Bye.